Okay, sorry.
Oh, I thought I was about to hit a rap.
I was about to get that beat. I was about to get the beat.
That was on.
Go back to our childhood.
Uh-huh. About to hit it. Anyway, hello everyone.
I do
Bonjour.
that. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
That's all I know. Did you take French?
Comment allez-vous?
No. No. No me talez-vous.
No. How are you?
Oh, sorry. See, didn't speak French.
Très bien. Qu'est-ce que ça?
When I was in France and I went to Paris and I had to drive through, right? They'll start out just being rude because they know you American, you don't speak American. That's the only thing you can speak. They'll start speaking French like they never heard of English. And then but whatever. I think we're assholes too when we go to other countries. So I'll join you. I'm like, look, I don't know how to speak. I'm like, bonjour. I wish I did take French, but I took Spanish. And all I want to tell you is bien y tú. But
Escargot.
Yes.
French fries, damn it.
Fromage. And they'll just start laughing. I'm like, oh, good. Because, look, I just ain't got time for this. Just give me gas. I just want to fill up. It's bad enough they watch my dumb ass try to figure out how to back out with a VW and a stick. Because VW sticks, you got to press the reverse down and up, as opposed to like other sticks. Yes, at the top and yeah. Okay. So they watched my dumb ass just for 30 minutes. They was laughing before they was like, "Let's get."
Why it's not going? Oh, it says it on the thing. Look.
No, it doesn't.
You don't have it on
R going up. So it says R go up, but they don't say depress and go up.
Oh, depress. Okay.
Yeah, and I taught myself how to drive a stick, huh?
What it's like this, and it's like that. It's like 2 H's or whatever on that thing.
Two going up. The same one going up. So it's one, and then an R above it. So I'm like, what the fuck that means? Well, I mean, it's okay. I know it's up there, but I didn't know you had to depress.
Depress the button and do hit it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. I would be by Willie videoing. However, gas is $2.25 a gallon.
$3.25.
Sorry, my bad.
I'm about to say, and we about to get off live right now. So I can look, don't shut this shit down, motherfucker. I gotta go.
It's $3.25 a gallon. However, when I went up to Knoxville, so I was up in Knoxville this weekend, and in my mind, I was like, the price is gonna be cheaper in Knoxville, and I was right. I found one that was like $2.99, and I stopped. I was like, and got that gas. And then I drove past another one that was $2.85, and I had buyer's remorse. I was like, oh, I could have saved 10 more cents.
Your rear view as you pass it. Try to remember where that's gonna be at when you come back.
I wouldn't recommend if you look like me driving in that area. I forgot I was Black. See, I lived up north way too long. And then I lived in predominant cities way too long. And honestly, I didn't grow up a place I had to remember I was Black. So I'm going to say that in defense of myself. But when I decided to take the route less traveled on my way to Knoxville, I was like, I'm not going to get on this interstate. I'm about to go this way. This is the most fuel efficient way anyway. And I drove and I was like, 1, 2, 3. And by the time I got to the 12th Confederate flag, I said, I shouldn't be here.
Scream like a pig. Sure has got a pretty mouth.
See, when you start talking about that, that's when I leave. I ain't got no. So, yeah. Although going there, I didn't have an issue. Coming back, however, I may have cut somebody off accidentally, and they may have followed me for a while.
Allegedly?
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, I can't remember what that thing is. Big Sky. You ever seen that show? The Trucker?
Mm-mm.
The first season is good as hell, but it's a trucker. They cut him off, and he goes on a rampage.
Isn't that a movie? Oh no, it was a movie.
Well, there's a movie, something like that. Yeah, there's a movie like that, just like that. Yeah, but this is a show.
Yeah, well, so in my defense, maybe none of that. Maybe he wasn't mad about it. Maybe he just happened to be going in the same direction I was going for the next hour and a half. But in my defense, Okay, so two things. I didn't cut him off. What happened was we was on a 2-lane road, opposing traffic. You know how to have the things where you can cut in front, and people were driving slow. So it was 2 cars in front of me and me, and then a car behind me, and then that truck. So that truck decided to try to overtake all of us. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that because I was just trying to overtake that one car in front of me, like somebody with sense. So I get over and I see him behind me, like barreling through, and cars coming the opposite direction. I'm like, this ain't gonna be good for him because I got over. And then they just slowed down to let him get over. But the dude had like
ran out of road.
Well, he ran out of road before the opposing traffic was coming. So the dude had in his car, he had like the fucking purge mask hanging from his windshield.
Oh shit. Yeah. That was you might not have wanted. He probably had a shotgun or a damn on the rack, or a damn rifle on the rack.
So maybe he was a perfectly lovely gentleman. Maybe he just happened to be going in the same direction I was going. But that purge mask was enough for me. I was like, let me just keep speeding. And keep, because he clearly he don't know how to drive in these areas. So let me just try to lose him. And then I finally lost him.
Yeah, good thing. You one of them cautionary tales.
Right? Right? About forgetting you're black. Like it'll just be a freeze of me like saying, ha ha ha, I like country music. That was the last thing she said.
Yeah, it's you black and white. So your picture turned black and white.
Racism is horrible. Why are we laughing about it?
Can't do that about it. Might as well laugh. Before we get into the topic, let's get some quick housework right here.
Okay, we housework.
Yeah, a little housework.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, housekeeping. A little housekeeping. There you go. If y'all want, go to ADHD Hour Podcast on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Because next year I'm gonna start doing something different, and it's gonna be YouTube, surrounded around YouTube. So if you enjoy the content, go subscribe over there, tell somebody about it, so they can subscribe to the channel.
I don't know what he's doing, y'all.
What'd you say?
I don't know what he's doing, y'all. He don't tell me how he named the titles, and he be all inflammatory with the names of some of the titles sometimes. Sometimes he tells me. But I'm like, what the hell is this? Yeah. I got a story for this one.
Okay. So you want me to present the title first and then you go in your story? Or?
Nah, let's start the story.
Okay,
all right,
good.
So
you want to present the title?
No, I'm gonna start the story and then you can present the title.
Do you think?
You'll know when it comes.
Okay. All right. I'll be ready.
Title. So there's this guy in college, right? When I went to 2 universities. Actually, I went to 3, but the last 2 I went to. The last one was this predominantly diverse university. The engineering department was kind of diverse. It wasn't as culturally lacking as the second university I went to in engineering. So this is the first Black TA that I've ever seen, and I was so excited. He was such a cool dude, whatever, right? My best friend is a girl from the islands, and we all used to talk to each other. Actually, that's how I met her, through him, and so me and her became best friends and whatever. So then we ended up, a hurricane or 3 came through Florida, and
in 1 year,
in actually 1 quarter. And the end of it ended up with us being roommates, me and her being roommates. And one day, like, you know how they have that little meme that took me a month to get, like, oh, nobody at all.
Yeah, and nobody and all. And then, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we were just chilling. It was a great Saturday. We were just chilling. We ain't had nothing to do. Then her phone rang. And she answered it, and she's like, "Oh, hey, how you? Oh, it's been a while since I talked to you." This is me listening to what she says. It's been a while since I talked to you. Oh, well, congratulations. Oh, okay. Well, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you just miss out on an opportunity. right? And then she's like, well, okay, well, I'm wish you well, okay. But her face had this look on it, and when she hung up, I'm like, bitch, what happened? She said that was that dude. He called her to tell her that he's getting married and that she missed out on an opportunity in college. And now she's going to have to be alone and try to find a man because she missed out on a good thing that was right in front of her.
She missed out.
She missed out.
Wow.
Oh, that is my phone. My bad. Sorry, y'all. It's off.
And she missed out.
She missed out on a good thing. Why did she miss out on a good thing, Willie?
Oh, okay. Because GPS ain't getting women nowhere.
What is GPS? What is GPS?
What is GPS? Okay, so GPS is golden penis syndrome. Let me explain, give you a little background as to what this is. This was an actual study, and it was put up by the New York Post in actually early this month. I think it was like the second or third of this month, and it was explaining how they did a poll on college campuses how men are 40.5% of the population on college campuses, which leaves approximately 60% of women, and they have enormous supply of women running around, so the odds forever in their favor. It's Hunger Games out there. So it's Hunger Games, and you see the background, right? The golden, that's the prize, right? You see the background?
The prize is gold.
Yeah, okay. See the background. Yeah, the golden peen, the golden eggplant. That's the golden eggplant right there.
Oh, is that an eggplant? Oh, eggplant, yeah. I thought that was paint. Oh, my bad. That's the golden eggplant. Gotcha.
Golden eggplant. So that's it.
Side note, Ray is in Facebook jail. So if he's gonna comment, he'll send it to me and I'll read it out.
Why you get on YouTube then? Why you just get on?
You can get on YouTube, Ray. You can get on YouTube and content to your heart's content. It's because he's inflaming people. People like he just be saying regular stuff.
That's what happens when you're over there trolling the hell out of people.
It's not even trolling. It just be like some random, like regular schmegular. Like it don't be bad. It just be like a question, and people would just be like, "Oh my god, he asked the question."
Yeah, because he asked a certain question.
Yeah.
Certain people you can't do that.
So golden penis syndrome is, so is the syndrome itself the idea that there are more men than women?
No, there are more women.
Women than men. And that makes their stock value high?
Well, no, there's so that means economics, and this is something I'm talking about on another channel, right? It's relationship economics. In relationship economics, just like regular economics, supply and demand. So if your supply is in shortage supply, it becomes more valuable because of the shortage supply. So men are a short supply, especially in colleges. Or viable men, put it that way, viable men that women want to actually date, marry, whatever, is a shortage supply. They're talking about college here, but this also gives you a snapshot of what's going on out in the real world, in the real date market. And, the lack of the competition, is making it to where, hey, we could get what we want to. So they're able to just ghost women. They're able to just get rid of, and do whatever. We don't have to compete for that now. We don't have to compete with other men because y'all way more than us. It's like if I could get the figures correct, I'm not sure, but I think in the date market it's like 2 million more single women than it is men. And I'm talking about the black community. I'm not talking about any place else.
I don't have no dog in that fight. I've shared many of them unknowingly.
But I'm just saying, this is where it comes from.
Tribe unknowingly sometimes. Sometimes you're like, God damn, really? Oh, okay, let me get out of this.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. That's what it is. And that's what I think is, GPS, which is how you like my title though. You didn't say nothing about the title. GPS. It's brilliant.
I like the art more than I like the title.
GPS ain't getting women nowhere. Come on now.
I got it. It's a good plan.
It's damn brilliant. Come on.
Although it's bad English. But it's a good play on words.
Whatever.
It's a good play on words.
Women nowhere.
This is why I ain't got no man. You see how I'm doing things?
See, it's wonderful.
GPS. It's a good player. GPS. Yes, I got it.
Yes, I'm saying.
It is. It is.
Give it to me.
It is. It's a good way.
But and that was 2 minutes before the start of the show. Well, no, actually 2 minutes before I reached out to you.
Posted it, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, that's what it is. That's where we at in the date market, and they showed this. Some guy wrote about this in the article, and I don't know what his thing was about it. Maybe he can't get women, and he's trying to simp and white knight or whatever. So he's trying to do whatever. But why
can't he just have an opinion? Why does every man who doesn't agree with the general ideology that men have got to be a simp?
No, it's not the general ideology. No, the general ideology is what actually is, what most people agree in society. The general ideology is most.
That's what I mean. So why is it called simping when they don't agree? And it happens.
No, he agrees with he's trying to say. What he's trying to say is that the men are the fault for this, right? That's what this thing is actually saying. They're saying, okay, I didn't get to that part. So he's trying to say that men are, because of this, men are using this to their advantage and stuff, and they're the reason for that. Did men make the environment? And that's what he's failing to point out. How did the environment get this way?
Well, so okay, and here's my thing, and maybe I'm simping too. Whether or not the environment got that way, just because you grew up with the rich being rich, taking advantage of the poor, that's the environment. Doesn't make it right or wrong.
No,
it's still wrong.
But it's not a right or wrong thing.
It is a right or wrong thing. It's still wrong. Like taking advantage of people is taking advantage of people. Taking advantage of a situation is taking. Nobody said you can't be proud of yourself for getting your degree and doing these things, right? So because I kind of read this article. I didn't finish it because I was like, I'm bored. Which is bad for the podcast.
Yes, it is. That's why. Didn't I ask you that? Did you read it? Didn't I ask you that? Yeah. I read it. Yeah.
I did, but I ADHD read it.
Oh, okay.
I got to the end. I really did. I read it, but I don't remember it. Okay, but here's the thing, it grows past that, right? So it's not, there's the stuff that the golden penis syndrome with how they treat women, right? Which steps on the toes of the Black experience in general, and you feel like you can just disregard and disrespect women, and then it adds on to the whole dynamic of breaking perfectly good people for other perfectly good people. And it talks about how what he didn't touch on, because that's one of the things I did notice, is he didn't touch on how these college graduates look down on people who look like them who aren't college graduates. Even if they have careers, they have their own businesses because they went into the technical field. I mean, they went into the
STEM.
Not STEM, in the vocational field, plumbing and those kind of things, AAA kind of work, like mechanics and stuff like that. They look down on those people. Yeah, blue collar. Thank you. Yeah. They look down on those people, and it's like an epidemic. This arrogance that they have in. And I'm just referring to the people because I've actually gone on dates with some of these guys where they think just because they're going to college, it means that they're better than other people. And
so to be more specific, because you talking about men say that about other men, that they're better than other men because they go on the dates. I mean, because they went to college or whatever. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And they look down on people.
So. There's two things that usually happen in dates, like when a guy's going on a date with a woman. One thing is that they're going to try to big up themselves to a point, try to distinguish themselves from the rest of the pack. So they're doing this. It doesn't necessarily mean that they believe it, but they have to do this in order to shine more light on them. So he could be saying that.
Way to do that.
Do what?
That's a pussy way to do that.
All's fair in love and war.
Look, here's my question. Do you do that?
No, hell no. But
okay,
you can't. So this is the thing. Everybody has different talents. You can't like you can't look at me and say what the norm is, right? You can't do that.
Yeah, but we can set a gold standard. And we can sit there and say, don't do that shit. If you're talking about anything, like to me, side note, that guy I never went on a date with again because you couldn't change a tire.
Okay, and that's a
You
problem.
couldn't change a tire.
That is a problem. That's
and he looked down on a guy who owned his own business, came and did it. He looked down on him. I was like, he looking good right now. He could change a tire. He has a business. And yeah, his nails might be dirty because it has oil under it because he's working. So there's a lot of inflated egos just because you got a degree. And also, let me say this. If we look at the stats, I know a lot of Black men who are in STEM. That's because that's the circle I travel in. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's the circle I travel in. So, but let me also say, I know a lot of people who got their degree in business or in a business administration, and that's like getting your degree in breathing.
Yeah, it's worthless because everybody gets their business the majority of the time. So once again, economics. Because of economics, if everybody has that degree, then it's not going to be as valuable. And also, you got to say this, and this is, I had another point. You know, when you started saying, I had another point, and we'll get back to that right after. But if you look at majority men making a certain amount of money, the money that women like to look at, you know, a certain amount of money, taking care of themselves and able to do certain things. A lot of them men are in the blue collar field. A lot of them in the blue collar field. There's only a certain percentage in the white collar field. These trades that you're talking about, these trades, they men make money. Plumbers make money. These mechanics make money. And women don't, because they do a certain type of work. What you're trying to explain, this is going back to the point I was about to make. What you're trying to explain is usually what you hear from women. Like men, like I was about to say, men might do this to other women. Simping, white knight and stuff. That's some simp shit, what you just explained, right? Oh, I'm gonna do this. That's not what, that's why I said you can't judge me by whatever. I wouldn't do that. That's some simp shit. It's just because I know maybe I can't. He has deficit. He know he can't change a damn tire. So I'm not a manly man. So I gotta do, something else to impress you, right? Oh no, them dudes, this, that, putting another man down. That's not how majority dudes don't do it. I mean, how majority men don't do things. They don't do it like that. Majority of men don't speak on other men like that. They just focus on themselves if they feel they got something to offer or something for a woman to respect him. The reason for a woman to respect him, he's focused on that. But like I said, you'll get a lot of that from women because she got a degree, and if a man comes along and there's a certain amount of he doesn't have a degree, or he has a certain business or whatever, she'll be like, well, treat him like he ain't worked. He ain't worked the same as a guy in a white collar that dresses a suit every day. She'll act a certain way around him and not even know this man makes more money, than the guy with the suit majority of times.
I disagree. Women are like a real true. Now, don't get me wrong.
Women?
It's the lifestyle.
Majority? But still, we're talking about
the lifestyle.
Get the hell away here, the damn rapey cat.
That's not even rapey cat. Rapey cat is chilling. She know I'm on camera. It's the other one who don't even do this. No, I'm not talking about. So to me, there are different versions of women. So I'm going to try to define them in like these terms for this conversation. There's the lifestyle women, right? Lifestyle women, the women who look at the world from a view of how would the world see this as success, right? Meaning they want an NBA player, they want somebody in the NFL, they want somebody who's a suit and tie wearer, that kind of stuff. Status is
certain kind of car. It's more than that. Certain kind of car. Yeah.
We're calling this. Those are those people. There's those status people.
Hypergamous women. That's the ones that actually just, I'm going to be a pergamous. I'm looking for somewhere to, somebody that's above my status in order to upgrade me to a certain level.
Well, let me put the term hypergamy on the side for a second, right? Because I don't necessarily feel like, I feel like hypergamy can happen at all of these levels.
Okay.
So there's that person, the status person who bases the status on what the world sees, right? And then there's the other ones who understand, like, I mean, for the most part, both of them are still gold diggers on a level. but they're the people who understand the way the world works, like the ones who just want to make sure they're sound. They have somebody who's willing to work and get money and that kind of stuff. And those people recognize how much money plumbers, electricians, mechanics, and that stuff weight makes. And they're okay swimming in a smaller pond because the smaller pond gets the bigger payoff, right?
Yeah.
But they're still a gold digger, right? I'm not judging gold diggers. Get yours how you live it. But I'm just, I'm just saying. But both of those to me, well, one's not putting one above the other. One sees things through different lenses. But I think both of those are hypergamy, right? And then there's the third woman.
There's different percentages of hypergamy. You know, I think a lot of dating is rooted in hypergamy. A lot of it is rooted in hypergamy because women don't usually want to date down. Majority of women.
Well, see, the definition of down is what I'm talking about, right? Okay. So the third, let me say the third group, right? And then there are people that healthier group, right? But I'm just talking for this conversation. The third group of women are the people who have like a physical stature.
Okay.
Who care about physical stature, like what they look like, what they like. I call it more security, I think. Let's say security from the standpoint of physical security, that they look good, that they're strong, that they thugging, that kind of stuff, right? And they fall under that category. It's very superficial, in my opinion, the category, right? So then those three people, to me, those three people all fall into the groups fall into the terminology hypergamy because they place themselves, they think those things are above and they're aiming for that. Just because they're not, like, when people think of hypergamy, even though every time you say the word, I keep forgetting what it means and I don't remember. But when you think of hypergamy, all three of those categories fall under it. It doesn't have to be an NFL player. You can definitely be somebody who just hanging out with the biggest dope boy in the city.
Well, I'm on to kind of simplify it. I'm going to say the majority, what you said, the three terms you put in, the majority of these women fit in. The third one is going to be your younger females, your younger women. In your 20s that look for whatever, oh, he looks cute, or I'm gonna get one type shit. Then the 30s, something, a lot of the 30s to 40 something might fit in the secondary one, which it could be second or first, but anyway, but it's like I'm looking for more of
I'd probably say 40s and over.
Yeah, 40s and over. There you go.
I'd probably say that. Yeah.
You're right. 40s over, and the 30s, like the late 20s to mid 30s, is the top tier. Because they're looking more physical, looking more financial.
I would say teenage to 30s, early 30s. I would say teenagers too.
It depends on their life. It depends on their life.
Yeah,
it might depend on their life. Yeah, because the whole financial thing is it could be the whole gambit. The top tier could do that's 80% of the women. Let's just put it this way: 80% of women, that top tier is going to be able to hit 80% of the women, and that's part of the problem with this GPS is because if you look at it, what? Go ahead.
I would say 40 to 50. I would say 40 to 50. Because you're talking about from teenage to 30 something.
Money. No, I'm talking about money, the money aspect. If you ask any woman,
but once you get to 40, like I would say like late 30s, right? Some people might be smarter than an average bear. Late 30s on, they don't give a shit if you play football. They don't give it because they're not
talking about football. Young girls. No, we're not talking about sports. We talking about just.
But even if you got a ton of money and you white collar, dude, they compete against those young chicks, right? Okay. Yeah. Because those guys, at least let me say in my engineering classes, I knew a lot of guys messed with young girls who were pretty, and that's it. And they married them, got them pregnant, got the whole thing.
But that's all they was looking for, though. You got to realize that's all.
What you think?
If they went around those older women, you think the older women was gonna be like, nah, no.
But what you think somebody with a degree want? They think they want to be the breadwinner. Somebody who has that kind of energy about. So when you think of GPS, you think of how women perceive GPS. When I think of GPS, I think of how men perceive themselves who have that. They think this shit doesn't stink. They think they have everything to offer, and they think you should be lined up down the street. You remember I told you that story about that guy?
Guys that only have money. I'm talking about just the whole.
I'm talking about a degree.
This article is talking about college. I'm talking about the whole spectrum of just in the dating market, how that is, like Atlanta. Let's bring it to Atlanta. Let's bring it here. 17 to 1, right? If you got a atmosphere where it's 17 to 1, what do you think the market's going to look? Well, go ahead.
Can I just say for a second,
Right.
Atlanta's the only fucking place that I've ever been that people ain't got no kind of degree in college or high school or nothing, but know the stats about the numbers of women to men ratio.
Hey, because if that's what they're doing, and that's the difference, right? If that's what you're doing, if I'm in this market trying to do something, I'm gonna know what's going on in this market. I'm gonna know.
Ain't never been close to a statics class,
ain't never.
a statistical class.
I'm counting these rocks, bitch. I'm smarty arty, nigga. They gonna know some shit because that's what they're doing. The dudes gonna know what they're trying to do. They gonna understand the environment. But that's what the environment is.
Only in Atlanta, by the way, though. Only in Atlanta. I've been in multiple cities.
Houston.
Multiple cities, and I've dated multiple. I've never been to Houston, but I'm just saying,
any black Mecca. You don't think?
I've been to multiple cities. Okay. I've never heard I've dated. I've been single for a very long time. I've dated multiple cities, right? In between me dating. I mean, I've been in a relationship a long time too, but in between those times, I've dated or I've been perceived to be single in multiple cities. And I've never had somebody say to me, well, the amount of women that, they got way more women than men up here in this place. I'm like, what?
Now Atlanta, no. Now this is different, right? And I agree with you. In Atlanta, they will tell a woman that, right? Other places, it's gonna be. They
might think it. That's
they're
fine.
Gonna think it, but they're not gonna verbalize it. Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one. That's true. Yeah, because they see this every day. I could go out.
The hardcore statisticians. Like they know statistics. They're like, there's a 1 in 17 chance for you to find happiness or you'll die alone. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, I work down in Buckhead sometime, and when I'm in Buckhead, I see a plethora of women just walking around.
Will you be my man? Will
untapped,
you be my man?
Like untapped, like the untapped women just walking around. And when you go out, what'd you say?
Lonely.
Walking around. What is it?
Lonely walking
around. Oh, that's some booty. There's some booty right there. Oh, there's some right there. Just walking around. When you go out to eat, right? You see 4 and 5 women sitting together. That's it. You see groups of women going out to eat together. And it's like you walking in, they just looking. I'm like, okay. But that's what it is. That's why men can say that. Once again, go to GPS.
So you're not saying it from the standpoint of college. They're talking
about college, and that's the micro of it. But I'm talking about the whole.
You're talking about the Atlanta version of GPS. That's what you're talking about.
Well, even if it's Atlanta or not, even if you look at the statistics in Black America, right? Even the statistics in Black America tells you there's way more women than single women than men. You know the difference?
Okay, so when I lived in DC, right? The Black community, white collar, right? But they don't have this kind of Atlanta energy because they're looking for a partner that's equally yoked. So they're not concerned about what they bring in to get table as much as they're concerned about what you bring to the table and whether or not they can have a power couple. That's the mentality at DC. When I lived in Baltimore energy was like, you got dudes, most of those people, like shout out to my Baltimore people, love y'all to death. A lot of y'all been in jail.
Bah, bah, bah.
A lot of y'all about that life. And y'all been to jail. So they're looking for status as well because they can't. I mean, like when I tell you it's hard to get a job if you have a degree in Baltimore, like to get an engineering job with 10 years of experience, the base level salary is $36,000.
Wow.
I can work at McDonald's.
Wow. Yeah, you can work. Yeah, you work at a manager at a gas at QT for $60,000. So yeah, wow.
So that's the stats, right? For that. So the energy that they have, Atlanta is a mecca that has a lot of white collar workers in here, and match that up with the fact that there are a lot more women to men ratio. And the energy there is they're looking for the men aren't looking for somebody equally yoked. They're looking for somebody who looks bad, who looks like this, and they're aware of what they present and what they show up as to women, and they know it, so they hold themselves in this regard. But that's the energy that people like. The same people in Baltimore, you can have that same discussion about them being way more men than women, but they know what's happening in that arena. Same thing, like New York's a different conversation. New York is like they got hustle mentality. So it's like they're looking for, if you're talking about the black community.
Black community. Yeah,
actually, sometimes you're talking about like international community.
International, yeah. Because even with this, with the World Wide Web, right? That's another reason why it's the way it is. The environment is swipe left, swipe right culture, right? It's the same way because you go to any one of these these websites, whatever, you see women and what they say is like, okay, this is what I'm looking for, and this that they start listing their stuff, and a lot of times they're getting passed over. So, they're starting to have to compete for these men because based on what they want. If they want a long term, whatever, they're gonna have to compete. And it's like you say, it's international.
Yep. But they're looking for hustlers in New York. Like, so it just depends. So, but Atlanta, the energy. So I'm saying, yes, it's a big, like, it is a thing. GPS is a thing. I think, my personal opinion, based on like dating and meeting people, I ain't gonna lie, I don't even know why people swipe on me, like, or even try to talk. Like, I'm I'm the worst. Because I don't want to talk. Like, if you send me, like, because I'm the worst. I don't understand how, like, online dating works. I'm old. So, like, there's a guy who keeps sending me messages now talking about good morning, good evening, how was your day? I don't even respond anymore.
Grand Rising Queen.
I won't ever respond to them. Okay? Ever.
Grand Rising Queen.
But, like, there are women... I don't know what these women are doing to some of these men, or responding in ways to some of these men, because like the energy that the men are giving is like, we need to meet, we need to do this. I'm not talking to you. I'm not just gonna stand with you and whatever. They're having a harder time meeting people, having a harder time meeting people who are gonna take them seriously, because they had, I think this era of GPS, as far as online dating, is wrapping up in Atlanta, because people are getting tired of it. That's why they're hanging out with their homegirls. Like, I rather go out and have a good time. And I'm not talking about the girls who, like, because there'll always be a girl looking for a meal. But I'm talking about good quality women. They ain't got time for that. Like, I be telling Willie the stories, like the dating stories of me and my friends. And like how there be these homosexuals just coming out of rip telling a sad sob story. No, I got bills all by myself. I'm not about to get a person and then get an extra bill. Y'all are crazy. And then
nothing. Nothing. Don't worry about it.
I think I heard what you said, stupid. So like, and then like I'll go on dates, right? I remember when I went on a date with this guy. We dated for like a month or something. Every time I went out with him, it was like a different bill that I noticed. Right? Oh, he got 3 cars. That's 3 car notes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that is crazy because guys do this to be more attractive to women, and like it's crazy. Like I said, I'm doing the whole thing off on the side. I'm doing the whole thing of economics, dating economics, right? To try to get women to understand certain things about the dating world. It's like y'all look at certain things that don't serve y'all. What?
You're not a minimalist?
Yeah, I'm a black minimalist. That's what I am. I'm a black minimalist. Yeah, I'm a black minimalist. That's what I am. But
shout out to the black minimalist, my fat frat man. We gotta have a discussion, dude. We gotta have a discussion.
You need to bring him on. We need. He didn't answer.
He didn't answer me. I tried. We're gonna have to have a discussion, man.
Yeah, I would love to have that because it's interesting. But that's what I'm trying to get women to, most of the things that they subscribe to, right, or they try to look for, it works against their end results. A lot of it works against your end results. You should want a guy that is not all extravagant like that, because it doesn't help you in the long run.
It's gonna cost you money.
Yeah. That's what it's gonna do. It's gonna cost you money, and it's just crazy to me that you don't see this. That could also be GPS too, because guys like we see in Atlanta, guys that stay downtown, they stay in high rise, whatever, condos and stuff. It's like, okay, tonight I'm this one, I could get rid of that one, because they know they're the top 15% of men. the top 10% of men, they could switch them out every night if they want to.
Yes. And if all you're looking for a vagina, then keep doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. But at some point, you're going to be looking for more. Maybe. If you're never looking for more, ignore the fuck out of us. You're doing the right thing. It's called
even if they do that, they're doing the right thing. Because think about it. When are men more desirable? Or when they're younger or when they're older?
It depends.
In general.
I think no, but the reason I'm not trying to be willfully hard. I'm not trying to be one of those people who be like, oh, if you met Idris Elba, would you cheat on me? I'm like, no,
no, I wouldn't.
I would cheat so hard. You would be like, I didn't even know she
You'll
could
feel me in your sleep.
Yes.
You'll wake up.
Yes. And the likelihood of Idris Elba coming in here is very minimum. So I'm faithful. Love you. No, but what I was gonna say is, you're saying old versus young. If we just stay in that realm, young people gonna win, right? But that's not how it works. It's the market looks like this: a young person who got a good, they have a tendency to have great bodies and good stamina and no money.
That's how it is with men, though. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but then you have this old person who got money, who know how the world works and willing to use it and spend it. To me, who gonna win? Depend on what you need.
Well, yeah.
Because if you got your own money, you're gonna go to that young cat.
But let's talk about but will you respect? So if the woman wants a relationship, she's not gonna go to a young cat.
Oh no, not if you're looking for a relationship. I'm just saying, it depends on what you need.
Most women want relationships, so based on that,
I think most women were taught that a relationship is the case, and what they're learning through different variations of therapy and stuff. And I think men are learning that too, who are going to therapy, that quality isn't necessarily, sometimes the idea of being alone is preferable to being in a toxic situation for the sake of a relationship.
No, and I agree, but everything, we tend to call toxic everything, and
because everything is toxic.
Bastardized. What'd you say?
Everything is toxic.
Well, we're all imperfect, so it's really not toxic. It's not toxic. It's just we're imperfect beings.
I would argue the other thing. It is all toxic, and we're all toxic.
But okay, yeah, man, and that could be it too. But the thing is that it's not. You can have a good life. You can have a good life, especially we talk about our age range, right? The 40s. We got a lot of people operating like they're younger in their 40s. 40s the new 25 or some shit, and it's
in full now.
Yeah, it's crazy because those are people that operate in that way. It's going to get to like 55, 60 and be like, oh, what's going on? I need to, and that's what I think a lot of this on both men and women's side, right? A lot of this is going to be messed up when we get to our retirement years. You're going to see a lot of people just
hoeing it out.
Torn and damaged.
No, I was saying hoeing it out.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, but just like, well, you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be like in the old folks' home, like the elderly homes, right?
That's what I was thinking.
You're gonna have guys just going up to like the assisted living or whatever, going to assisted living.
Hey girl, this is my original hip. This is my original hip. Let me move
exactly. Hold on, let me get my oxygen. Let's do it.
Or like our uncle and be like, I ain't on no pills.
Oh, come on, girl. I ain't gonna say nothing else about that. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that one.
He told my best friend that he's like, he said, no. Let me tell you how old pimps do it. He told my best friend from the islands. He said, hey, I know you want a green card marriage, and I ain't on no medication.
Hey, there you go. Let's make a deal. That's what's gonna become. It's gonna become like that in the older years when people wait. Because the thing is, as you get older, your options get smaller and smaller. Yeah, it's getting shorter and shorter. So eventually, it's gonna be like, oh, you got a good ticker? Oh, you ain't got a pacemaker? Okay, come on. Let me cook you something. Let me cook you something.
But I think that's a delusion, right? I feel like that's a delusion. Because let me ask you a question: who's more likely to be okay being alone, a woman or a man in their older age?
A man.
I think that's not true.
No, a man. Women need interactions. Women need
Yeah,
no.
but we normally have our family. We normally have kids. We normally have, not me. I got cats. We normally have cats. We normally have stuff, right? Men just sit there inside their house and just wither away. Ain't nobody cooking them a meal. Ain't nobody doing, like, it's men with the saddest fucking lives in their old age.
I think we don't work. We don't, at some point, we don't, once we get to a point we can't pay for it, it's like, all right, I'm going to figure out stuff to do. We're going to figure out stuff to do. And it depends.
And they figure out nothing.
It depends on the type of man. But usually men are busy doing
I'm
stuff.
not asking you about the type. I'm saying, generally speaking, who's more likely to be not okay being alone? Because women have their own options. Women, like, they may not have romantic options. Like they substitute. Women are more likely. Not saying this is a good idea, women, to substitute other things for their relationships. Right? It's not a healthy thing, but at least they find something substituted for. Whereas men, they don't want to deal with them fucking kids. They went to work. They went to work. And then one day they retired and they're just like, nigga, what happens next? They didn't cultivate relationships with their children because they were taught that they were providers. They didn't have relationships with their family because they grunt and they do this kind of stuff. And they're homeboys, yeah, but when you're getting older, people start dying off.
That's true.
Whereas women live statistically longer than men.
And that's true. Well, now no more. We're getting closer because women are taking on men responsibilities. Women are doing certain things. Okay. Next week I got something. The broken heart syndrome. Broken heart syndrome. We're gonna talk about that.
A new title?
Yeah, it's a new. Yeah, it's something. I always did, but you kind of segue into it not knowing it. You walked into it. So
okay, we'll talk about it.
We're gonna talk about next week, but that's basically what we're talking about, and that's next week broken heart syndrome. But we're on GPS.
But in general, that's the case. So if we're talking about we talked about this, right? We talked about the bell curve when it comes to relationships and men, right? And we talked about how young fuckboys can turn into old fuckboys and that kind of stuff. But there's a sweet spot for everybody when it comes to partnering up. And I'm here to say, men, it's your 40s for partnering up with somebody. Because once you get 50, it's going to be like, how much money do you make? Because you got to pay to play. For women, it's about 20 to 30. Because in your 40s, it's like, what are you willing to put up with?
I'm about to make a prediction. Okay, I'm about to make a prediction. Under normal in the past, what you said is right? But going forward, it's going to be a certain atmosphere where it's going to be about we need to partner up, men and women or whatever, because we're seeing it now where women are buying houses together. 3 women are buying houses together so they could be in the same place, so they for safety reasons. So
I think it's smart, not just for safety reasons, for money.
Yeah, and it's smart. Yeah, but I'm just saying these men, even in their 50s, is going to be valuable at a certain point because even you don't think so?
The price of peace. So for me,
for men, what you mean price of peace? For men, it's like it depends. They want the peace. So,
but I'm not talking about men or women. I'm saying for the price of peace. There's a price for peace, and at the end of the day, like I'm not coming from this. I'm not coming from men. I'm just saying in general, there's a lot of crazy people out there. Just crazy.
Well, I'm talking about from a safety aspect of how this society is going to get. Because we're seeing
my cats and my guns are fine.
Yeah, okay, but what happens when you start to get up in age and your cats is, first of all, you got to get new cats because your cats ain't lasting for that much longer. And I'm talking about y'all.
Yeah, when I tell you she popped up, she's like, "What the hell is he talking about?"
I'm talking about you.
You're not about to make my cat look. She about to jump on my lap. She's about to
Your lives are getting short. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Your life is getting short.
She's upset with you. How dare you tell her about her existence?
The short timers list. Your life is counting down. But it's going to get to the point where it's going to be a valuable thing. Yes, you might have your guns, but the thing is, you're going to need somebody there.
But that's what family's for.
And that's
I'm
true.
gonna move in with y'all. I mean, let's
Close
not
the broadcast. Let's close the broadcast. Let's turn this shit on right now.
let's not act like that don't happen historically.
That happens, but I'm
I
saying
mean, we got two family members who hate each other living together.
yeah, oh,
Hate.
I'm not talking. I'm not. Anyway, like I said, it's good for people that don't have family. For people, I'm talking about we have, and you can't rely on your kids. We seeing it now. Kids go get their own life, and they just
They'll put you in a home.
Yes, that was a lot of women. I've heard that for 20 years, right? There was a lot of women retirement plans. Yeah, I'm gonna have kids, so they could take care of them. No, these kids don't. No, these kids like I gotta live my life.
Historically speaking, even in international, like in cultural situations, that's the answer.
But even
Culturally
in China,
speaking,
places in China and stuff, they're doing the same thing. They're not taking care of their family like they used to. That used to be an honorable thing to do. That they get married and they'll stay with the husband and wife, and the wife's mother will stay with the husband and wife. They're not going for that now. It's
anyway, I got time.
And also they screwed themselves because you remember they had that one kid thing, so they screwed themselves with that too. So they got a lot of elderly people that really they don't have what they thought they was gonna have.
I agree.
So
but
like I said,
generally speaking, not putting China in that conversation because you still have other Asian countries.
Yeah, we have other Asian
that still historically take care of the elderly. It's just the plan in general. Like you have your kids take care of you. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about monetarily because it's not your children should be taking care of their parents because monetarily speaking, take that off the case. Like being older, you have other issues that you don't even know you have. And having your family and having a good family dynamic. Another reason why we need to come back to the conversation of y'all are focusing on fucking men and fucking everything. But, some of y'all got some kids y'all need to go back and pay attention to because otherwise, investing in your family is a good long-term strategy. Like, and teaching them how to respect their
I'm not gonna let you do that. We have CDC that says black men are in their kids' life more than any other race. So
I didn't go black. I said men.
Okay, man. Okay, gotcha. So
I didn't go there. See how you doing? You trying to make it a race thing. Okay. I said statistically men because men were taught to be the providers, but they were never taught to be like, when it came down to it, like think about it. How many, do you have any great gifts from Father's Day? Like probably count on one hand. Y'all get the shittiest gifts I've ever seen in life.
But that's because society has told
society's told us a lot. They told us that men are supposed to be quiet and silent, not supposed to have any emotions and feelings. Men are just supposed to be the provider. They're machines.
Yeah, we're supposed to be machines. And then on the back end, and this is why, because what society tells you, right? Then we get to the point where it comes to relationships, and it's like women want men to do stuff that society is not, is not viewed men as. It's like you're supposed to be more. You're supposed to your emotions. You're supposed to do this, that, the other. And society's teaching
eat a banana.
Shit about. What's that?
You can't even eat a banana without being
without being gay. Oh, listen, you gay. Look at him licking on the ice cream. He gay. So I'm just saying what society shows people, or the society does, media and everything else, and then what women want, it doesn't line up. And for that part of it, I think it also makes a certain dynamic to where
but these people aren't innocent. Like, yes, society plays a part, right? But we are thinking individuals. You don't have to join society's standards. You can easily, and maybe not easily, but
I was about to say,
the decision.
Because society said slavery was good. It was great at one time, and
it's still right and wrong. I'm saying you can make the decision about what's wrong for you. You can say this doesn't sound right. This is not, this is not the case. I should be able to get a pedicure. My feet are terrible without anybody questioning my sexuality. Like I should be able to do all these things without anybody doing this stuff. But y'all, like people fall into it. Just like society says it's your job to spread your seeds or sow your oats. You don't have to join that conversation. You don't have to.
And the whole thing is from a man's perspective and from a logical perspective. I think a lot of men, don't do that because we have figures with that too. But a lot of men don't do that because of the financial burden of it. when we got men that's having like go there to Tennessee, you got two men that got like 80 kids or I think 70 something kids or something like that. You know, we have a small we have a small minute percentage of men having majority of kids out here. I want to say like 20% having the majority of kids out here. And then of course you have kids where you have multiples where you might marry somebody, you have a kid with them, and then you divorce, and you marry somebody else, have a kid with them. There's those aspects too. But meow, 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 meow. That was a commercial break. Okay.
Disrespectful. Disrespectful.
It
Anyway,
surprised. Look, you're home. You're still home. You're still home. Oh wow! But I'm just saying, you know, this is what
this is
this
why I leave.
in society. I'm gonna be gone tomorrow. This what it is in society. You know, we cannot like negate. You know, we can't take away from what the images. Like we've been an echo chamber for 40 years, as far as in the black community, for what they tell us men are supposed to be. So 40 years, that's two generations. That's basically two generations. If you take the tail end of one generation that, you know, they believe men are this, men are only providers, they're supposed to be quiet and just, you know, suck it up and take it and not verbalize anything, you know, because you just work, you provide for your family, and you're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you're gonna die sooner than women. You know, you're not, you know, you got all this stuff baggage. There's just all this stuff internal that you internalize and you just keep inside, stress and everything, and then eating habits and stuff that they don't, you know, that we've never talked about. Like men don't talk about this stuff majority of the time. But when it comes to
and are behind the curve because women talk about it and still can't get control of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's not something, but at least if it were a discussion, then it can, like, this is really a discussion that should be worked together between your partners and, you know, moving forward. But it doesn't work that way. When people get married or people would get together in relationships, they turn into this unmoving advocate for their own needs, and they stop.
Exactly. It's like me, and look at me, and this is what I need from you, and this what, you know, and this what I, you know, and it's like,
then it turns into what kind of man does this, and then what kind of woman, I need a woman who does it. I need a strong man. I need someone who's gonna be a, you know, it turns into that. And I'm like, instead of just saying like, you pick this person, and it like, and here's the fact of the matter, right? Mm-hmm. Outside of like when you're in a relationship with your partner, there's always gonna be something with somebody moving with somebody else. There's gonna be something with that person, right? You got to make the decision for yourself what you're willing to put up with and what you're not. But understand, you're going to have to put up with something. Mm-hmm. That's it. You're going to have to put up with something. Like, so women, you're talking about this GPS stuff with women, like, everybody wants to live the high life, especially with social media being what it is. Everybody posting, oh, look what he bought me. Look where we went and look where this stuff. And honestly, if you take it out of just women seeking men or men seeking women and just talk about your relationship with yourself, you set yourself up for failure more times than a little bit because you sit there and spend all this money that you don't have to go on to trips. Like I have a friend of mine, cool girl, cool chick. But she just went to Dubai. You, the one you just met. She just went to Dubai and she just bought a ticket. I'm like, why didn't you buy a ticket before? She said, I usually buy my tickets last minute. I'm like, you know, they go up like 3 times the price. She's like, you know, you only live once. Yeah, but how you live when you live that time is up to you. Like, you can have a shitty life, like because
once you get to the point where you can't make money no more, you know, then now it's like, oh shit. Now you start remembering. Oh, all these $3,000 on this flight. I could have used that $3,000 today, you know. So
all these cute little sayings that people be saying all don't make no sense later on.
The one in New Orleans, right? This the one. I'm gonna die with Bill. So what? Mm-hmm. What?
God gonna bless me.
God gonna bless me. Mm-hmm. All that good stuff. Mm-hmm. You know.
So we're talking about this, like. The reality of the matter is this. There are people out there. Golden penis syndrome is a syndrome for ignorant people, right? It is
okay. This one I'll say. What's the opposite of that for the woman, right? There's a thing with the woman.
Big booty bitches.
Boss bitch. No, boss bitch.
No, I thought you said gold. I thought you were
What?
referring to golden penis syndrome as how women relate to.
No.
golden
No, I said the opposite. The direct opposite of that when it comes to women is the boss bitch syndrome.
Mm.
Think about it. Because they think,
Independent woman, I would call it.
do what?
The independent woman.
Yeah, or the independent woman. Yeah, the independent woman syndrome. There you go.
But we have to stop and back up.
Hyper independency.
We have to back up. Are you saying GPS as the man sees himself? Because I thought you were saying it as the woman see men.
No, GPS is the outcome of what's going on. It's not how men see themselves. They just know this is what it is. Because of the amount of women, I can move a certain way because of my women. The women, because I'm a boss bitch, I'm independent. A man can't tell me nothing. I can move a certain way. That's
not a good correlation. You're gonna have to. No, it's not, because you're saying because society said this. Mm-hmm. This is why men are who they are. So, but you're saying because women feel this way, this is why women.
But society's telling women that too. Think about it. Society's telling women a certain thing. Society's telling them, okay, if you do this, you do that, you independent, you boss this, that, the other, that you can act a certain kind of way towards men, because that's what happens.
I feel like men are saying that.
Men are saying what?
I think men over time have taught women that to be in the relationship meant servitude and means that they were going to be controlled and they had to find a way to get their own autonomy, right?
So you think majority of women think that deep? Because that's real deep right there.
No, I think that's the result of society. I'm not saying majority of women think that way, but just because they don't know the source of where it came from, it doesn't mean that it still didn't come from there. People bastardize term nigga at one point meant a really bad word, and it was a racist word. Now it's like friend, homeboy, blah, blah, blah. So people bastardize terminologies all the time. The result of it is still the result. But I think independent women started out being a catalyst because women were getting beat. Women didn't have anywhere to go. They had their own kids. They had nowhere to work and that kind of stuff. They weren't working. And so they had to find a way to make a way for themselves. And then they started teaching their daughters to be independent, but they never told them the whys of being independent. And they started teaching their daughters, well, you don't need no man. I've been doing this by myself and da-da-da-da. But the source is the source, just like the source for penis, the GPS is.
What are you saying the source is for that? Because the source for GPS is because of the environment.
I don't think that's the source. I think the source of GPS is the fact that in the Black community, I look at GPS as more, no, it's a poverty mindset too. The source, the original source for GPS was like, oh, you're poor, we look down on you. But if you went to a good university, you can find a way to make a way for yourself to get out of that stigma and to get out of these moments, and you can get to a place. And that was something that was originally taught for survival purposes. And then when you had more kids, it was like status. It was like when you had kids, it was like, you need to go to this Ivy League, or you need to do this, you need to get this degree. And it was downplayed in the Black community. We don't need Ivy League as much as we need you to get a college degree, because it means that you made it yourself. Like you saw in Squid Games, the only thing that mattered was that dude went to that university.
Yeah, but it's not it's not really. I mean, they're talking about the universe, but they're talking about the amount of men versus the amount of women. I mean,
yeah, but that university has status. That it was the fact that he went to that university that he got out of poverty.
No, you're talking about Squid Games. I'm talking about just the overall the subject. It's about the amount of men and the amount of women. Because there are more women than there are men, men are able to act like they got golden penises. That's what this is about. If you'd have read the damn article.
No, because it talked about women in relationship to college, and you don't want to, like, you're bringing it back in when you choose it to, and then you make it global when you choose it to too.
And no, but it's the same. What I'm saying is that article is it's going to show, it's showing a bigger picture in the dating world. What I was trying to, that's what I'm trying to say. Say again.
I did read the article.
Okay, but they're talking about the amount of men versus the amount of women.
I ADHD the argument.
Okay, but you didn't see the figures?
Yeah, numbers.
See, that's the problem.
I mean, but like as somebody who's had to do those kind of studies, When you go to do those studies, have you ever been asked to do a study, Willie?
I don't read the studies. I don't have to ask.
Have you ever been asked to participate?
No, I'm not participating in studies. No.
Have you ever been asked?
No.
Exactly. They go to people and they put these studies in papers and they say, hey, we're doing a study on this. And these people who go, I'm stupid, I got something to say, join these studies. It's not indicative of everybody. It is not indicative. It's indicative of the people who will feel like they got shit to say. The arrogant, the ego-driven. It's indicative of those people. And then they base that study on those people. I have never seen somebody who's been asked to do these things. I've seen it on the paper, and I've seen those things, and we've had to do those kind of studies. Like,
so based on the census, so based on numbers in the census, do you think that that's going to be the same thing that you're saying? The numbers, I'm saying the figures. You know, if we have figures of 100,000 people that have been part of a study, right?
Yeah, but that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. We're not counting out for women who are bisexual, who are like, yeah, men are nice, but I get some poom poom. You're not counting for them. Like they're a part of that number. And let's be honest, there are a lot of women who are trisexual. So these numbers are like, and the number for men decreases too for the down low dudes who won't say they gay.
But they're explaining why men have a certain action. That's what this is an explanation of why.
At the end of the day, it's ego.
Okay.
I think golden penis syndrome has to do with ego. It's about status and position and ego, right? And everybody wants to be a part of the big dogs. They want to be with the big dogs. Everybody want to be with the winning team. Even if they don't like the person, they'll be a part of the winning team. And so it's ego. Like, it's no different than a man who wants to be with the fattest ass. That's why everybody's doing stuff to try to alter their body so they can try to get somebody to choose them. The numbers are the numbers. My thing is this:
getting women anywhere, that syndrome, because that's the topic. Do you think it's getting women anywhere?
It's getting them where they want to go. Like if you buy into it, it'll get you where you want to go. Me personally, I don't look at the status of what you have. Like I said, I look at what you can cost me. That's how I look at life. So if you are the kind of person that needs status and whatever, you're going to get what you got. Don't be upset when you get the results. It's not, I think it's an issue of the ignorant and the educated. And I'm not talking about college educated. I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about some people who have like a thinking mind and think like this. Like my homegirl, the one you met, the good upstanding woman, black woman who dated that guy.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, my homegirl, she always says she'll date somebody who like, and she's a white collar worker. She's like, give her a good trash man. Her parent, like if you are educated and you are not educated like education, like college and stuff like that, but if you understand the way the world works, it doesn't take a degree to understand the way the world works.
No, it don't.
So the people who are looking at the bright lights and the accolades from other things, those people are gonna get what they got. I don't feel sorry for them. You look for, like, you know how many men talk about their baby mamas and this, that, and the third. I'm like, but you knew you wanted a big booty bitch. You didn't say you wanted an educated woman who respected the man and whatever. No, you just said a fat ass. Look at that ass. She fine, ain't she? Okay. So now you got what you got. You wanted this man who had all this money, but you didn't think about whether or not he was going to lord it over you and mentally or verbally abuse you or physically abuse you. Okay, you got what you got. I ain't saying you deserve it. I'm saying you need to go back to the drawing board and realize the way you analyze life ain't right. Also, GPS makes me think of people like, so it's, the irony of the statement is the fact that they call this golden penis syndrome. And then the guy in the article talks about college people, right? And historically speaking, the person who's the best GPS, like who's best penis, is the one who ain't never did shit with their life, who gonna cost you all kind of headaches and money, and probably leave you a single parent. Those are usually the ones with the best penis. So it implies to me that it's talking about sex instead of talking about status.
Well, they was talking about sexual stuff. They was talking about the fact that men can ghost and men can just walk away.
But that's because the women ain't put value on their vagina.
What's that? They ain't doing?
That's because those women didn't put value on their vagina. Like if you value a vagina, if your vagina's worth not being ghosted, you know what I mean? Like there's a value we place on everything, right? If having sex with somebody implies that you're being used or taken advantage of, you're gonna have to stop having sex with people. There are some women who are okay with having sex, and whether you call them tomorrow or not, after having sex, it does not faze them. But if it does faze you, guess what? You put value on your vagina. Stop having sex with these men. All right, they didn't choose you. Well, they weren't gonna choose you. Now you're setting yourself like this is like it's hard for me to have this conversation with people when they start off on a level of ignorance, right? If you like, look, I'm not knocking people who choose to have a bunch of sex. I'm not knocking people who choose to hold out and save it for the Lord who brings them the man that's supposed to be for them. I'm not knocking any of them. I'm just reminding them that keep that energy. You came up with these rules, and if these rules don't suit you, change the rules. Same thing if a man comes and he's like, yo, I keep messing with these women and they keep trying to get a free meal. Who are you picking? What are your rules for picking these people? This is why you keep off. This is why you're feeding the family. It's just hard. It's hard for me to care about it's hard. It's hard. It's just hard for me to care. Like I just people like they start I just had a conversation about this, right? And she got mad at me. I don't think she got mad at me. I don't think she appreciated it. But definitely her partners didn't get mad at me, right? They got mad at me. Because she's polyamorous.
Oh, okay.
She's polyamorous. She has 2 partners, right? And I had a conversation, like I had a drunk conversation, but it was it's still truthful.
That was the problem. That was part of the problem.
I was like, you should think about you like people who control you. So maybe you found some people who control you. You don't recognize that until you're in it. But I stand by what I said. However, the thing about it is we forget that we create the terms of our relationships, right? And so if you don't take a hard, like I'm talking to her and she's talking about BDSM, right? And I'm like, hey, have you ever read up on what BDSM is? And she's like, no, I just, I don't read up on that stuff. That's too much.
What you want? What she give it the term? She give it the meaning.
I'm like, so what if something happens? She said, well, I'll learn about it then. So wait, does that make sense? Like
you signed up with something you like that. Be like, stop. That's not the password. What you mean password?
What word?
What word? Help! No, that's not the password. You said it worked when we first. I don't know. You don't even know this.
I thought we were joking.
Doing this shit. Yeah.
I thought we were. Yes.
No, she's playing with me. I don't remember.
So what's the likelihood of that same person? And I'm not picking on her because she's a sweet, amazing person. But what's the likelihood of the person who doesn't do the research about BDSM doing the research about what it takes to be in a proper and healthy polyamorous relationship? What's the likelihood for success in any of those realms?
It's not likely, but that's part of knowing your environment, part of knowing what you're getting yourself into.
So, and I use those 2 extremes. I use her examples because those are extremes for normal people. But how many people have read books on relationships and the kind of relationship they want? How many people have ever done the research on a type of relationship?
Hardly any.
The most that how many people have read the Bible, the actual Bible? Since they
front to back, hardly any. They go to the talking points. They go to the church to get the talking points.
What the pastor says.
What the pastor said. What the pastor.
So
God.
So you mean to tell me that you're going to be successful in life in this area and you did no research? That's like me saying I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to be a civil engineer. I took none of the classes. I'm going to figure it out. How hard can it be? People
Very hard.
Yes.
Very hard, yeah.
I'm a doctor. I can fix this spleen. It's a simple procedure. Fuck them books. It's just hard for me. Like it's hard for me to have this empathy and this other stuff. You talking about you want a successful man, right? What research and there are a lot of people who get involved with these people who like the high life.
Mm-hmm. And they don't like it once they get into it. They hate that shit. Because it requires something from them. Say it again.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, it requires something.
There's a price to pay.
Yes.
To play.
It's not free like most people think. It's not free.
There's that too. I wasn't even thinking that way. I was thinking along the line of you're getting with this person, and if you have no financial knowledge and they have no financial knowledge, you're just getting with. And let's be honest, like you pretty now, you young and pretty, but everybody get old.
And if you have nothing, if you're not bringing anything to it, now you're getting traded out for the newer model.
Boom. And that's one of the scenarios. You can also get with this dude, put all your stock in this dude, and then the dude later on loses it all, and you ain't got shit to show for life. Mm-hmm. But you ain't got that body like you used to. So guess what? You just back to square one.
Yeah.
So at some point,
shout out to Miss Harvey.
And the university that the guy went to in Squid Games was SMU.
SMU, okay.
Mm-hmm. Per Ray sending me a message. So like, it ain't getting you nowhere. It's not getting women anywhere. It's not getting men anywhere to think they have the GPS, because once they think they're everything, then they can start acting like they can start making these extra demands of what the status means, right? Oh, I should have this nice condo, or I should rent this nice condo and spend all this extra fucking money for something that you can buy for way cheaper somewhere else. And maybe it's not as flashy, but it's yours and won't cost you as much. Or these cars that depreciate in value. Even if they appreciate, they depreciate in value. I hate having that conversation with stupid people. Oh, well,
don't understand that it's always a liability when you buy a car. And
who's going to appreciate? This Birkin bag is going to be way more. Will you have to if you use the Birkin bag and the Birkin bag is set, well, I could still get money for it. Okay. So you're trying to tell me that a Birkin bag is a good investment. It is not. You're trying to make me you're trying to okay the fact that you're buying this shit. And that's just stupid. But I also not popular. I'm not a popular person. People don't like me. Fuck it. Like, I guess it's like stupid. These are dumb conversations. Like, I had somebody show me his cars, and I'm like, he's a nice guy, but I'm like, you got 2 notes. I don't care how much money you got. You still got 2 notes.
Yeah, you got your money is going to that. So what about financial? What about a financial security later on in life? That's what actually matters, and that's why it works against people.
You keep your So Ray says Birkin bags, you spell Birkin wrong, by the way, are proven to appreciate at a higher rate than inflation. I don't give a shit. You didn't buy it as a investment item. You bought it because you want the flex.
To show out. Yeah, to show out. That argument is just because you don't want to look stupid.
Yeah, you want to flex. Because if I rob you, who's appreciating? What value is the Birkin appreciating at?
Taken. Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be appreciating in my hands. Like, it's just don't make me mad. Like stupid conversations. Like if you look at my stats, right? When I talk to people, it's funny. when I talk to guys, they think that on dates, they think that they are interviewing me, right? Oh, what does she bring to me? What does she have to offer me when I'm looking at them? It's fine. I don't give a shit if you evaluate me. You should evaluate me. But when I'm looking at them and I'm like, what do you, I see, all I see is deficits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it's like poverty mindset. You have to
But you know
buy.
why? You know why? But you know why? See, and this is what you got to understand. This whole conversation, you got to understand. You think like a dude.
Because I'm the brother you never had.
Stupid ass. Because you stupid fucker. Because you think like a dude. That's why. All this shit
I
you've
don't
been
think
saying.
like a dude. You ain't gonna give me this energy. I think like somebody who's educated. Because
Okay,
dudes don't
no.
think like this.
So the ROI of relationships, right? The
Oh, look at you,
ROIs
look
and
at it. Look at you.
okay, trust me, I know some shit.
Oh.
Anyway, so but that's part of that dating economics that I was talking about. I was getting into, in this other podcast is that guys have to do that because majority of times when it comes to relationships, men have to pay on the back end majority of times. If it falls to shit, majority of time men going to pay for that. So that's why the questions. That's why the whole thing you talking about deficits. All I see is deficits. When a man looking at a woman and she a bad chick and she got this, that, the other, he starts to see, once again, you said educated and in ignorance, right? An educated guy is going to start to see, okay, she has to have a face full of makeup all the time, every time I go out. That's expensive shit. That's expensive. She has to have weave down past her ass. That's expensive. That's $500. He's going to start doing a cost assessment on dealing with this woman. And then she could look bad today, but while he's sitting there talking to her, she starts to look less attractive. She starts to look less attractive based on long term. What I'm saying, long term. Listen, not physically to the eyes, but I'm saying long term. With the long
You
term,
already invested in it.
what you mean?
You already invested. You already put the ring on it. You already did all this.
I'm talking. No, I'm not even. I didn't say when he got the marriage. I'm talking about date. I'm talking about on a date. I'm talking about in the initial meeting, and he's sitting there talking to her, and he's doing the RO. He's okay. What am I have to invest in this in order to, and what's going to risk? What's going to be the risk of dealing with this woman? And,
Maybe I've heard a few guys talk about how much they like the fact that I'm natural, and I assumed it meant that they didn't like the bills from the other thing, but it also could just be that weave, if they're too long, stinks. But
yeah, it's crunchy like a damn Easter egg grass, Easter basket grass. Shit. It itch. You won't lay on my damn arm and everything, itching my arm up, scratching my arm up, and I'm wondering why I got scratches. Did we have rough sex last night? What the fuck? Why I got all these scratches on me?
or like when they let it go too long and you look crazy. Like I'm thinking like along those lines.
Start coming up at the front with the looking like you got cradle cap. Let me stop messing with y'all women leave.
But you have more times than a little. It's okay. I've even had guys say, you have great skin, but why don't you wear makeup? I'm like, because I have great skin.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I do that? He's like, I like my women made up. There are people who buy into this.
But is it long term? And that's the thing. We have to understand.
I mean,
long term versus short terms.
Ray say eye weaves are a red flag. I don't even know what an eye weave. Oh, he's talking about lashes.
Lashes. Yes, that's red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Yes, waving at you when you come and go. The whole night
you see on dates with those little eye flags.
Waving by, you want me to leave? That's what you're doing? Oh, I'll get up now. If that's what you want, I'll get up.
But how many guys you see on dates with them chicks?
But okay, long term versus short term. And even with that, yeah, they get go on dates, but what are they expecting at the end of the dates?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's the acronym? What's date mean? DATE.
I don't know it.
Dick at the end.
That's a damn shame.
See?
I've never heard that.
This is something men know. Once again, this is what men think. This is what men think. This is why women need to understand. Women need to listen. They need to stop, being in echo chambers. They need to listen to men sometime because you're trying to deal with men. And we know these things. It's something we know.
From my perspective, it seems like men are marrying those women. From my perspective, it seems like The
So
women.
you're talking about men that are visible, right?
Hmm?
We're talking about men that are visible. Yeah, they have to keep a certain status. They have a image to uphold, so they do those things. But regular dudes, regular dudes that are are conscious about certain things, they complain about that shit. They, like Ray said, right? The damn, the spiders on their eyes and all that other stuff. We talk about it. Regular dudes talk about stuff like that.
Oh, I will say this in defense of regular dudes. LeBron James was a regular dude who had a regular woman,
Mm-hmm.
and they clowned her to death. Usher too.
Mm-hmm.
They were
Okay, but
people were
it doesn't
horribly
matter what
mean
they
to
say.
these people.
He picked
And
up because she was regular, right?
yeah, but she ended up like now she the flyest thing going.
But and is she with Usher?
No.
Come on, LeBron.
I'm talking LeBron James.
Okay, but she subscribed to that. She bought into that shit. It
It
wasn't
probably
because
was
of LeBron. It wasn't because of LeBron. LeBron picked her.
no. It was probably the package. No, LeBron picked her. It was probably part of the what's the word? The publicist. Like it was part of the mass appeal, right?
It
They
could,
gotta look the part.
if it's, but he plays basketball. His money is not like artist money, like other money, right? His money doesn't come by image. His money comes by what he can do on the court and the business.
Well, it comes by image too, because he has a lot of endorsements.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it doesn't
but
rely on this woman. It doesn't rely on this woman.
it does. His woman is a representation of him. That's why, that's why I don't give her flack for what she did for selling out. I don't give her flack for selling out because she had to do it. She had to do it. She was perfectly fine.
How many times you see an endorsement you see his wife?
Doesn't matter. It's still a representation, right? You remember Tay Diggs.
Think about this. LeBron still has a damn his head is jacked up. LeBron is, come on. If it's about
man, now you're talking about the different dynamics between beauty standards. Like Tay Diggs. Tay Diggs was married to oh God, she has a gorgeous voice.
Mm-hmm.
But he was married to this real plain white woman. When I tell you, like the roasting, the stuff, all this other stuff, like all these things that happen, it was just, and it affects your bottom line, your dollars and cents, right? Because the community doesn't want to see the community. Okay, look, Beehive people don't get on my face about this bullshit, but the community doesn't want to see ugly Beyonce and a beautiful Jay-Z, but they damn sure okay with seeing an ugly Jay-Z and a beautiful Beyonce.
No, and I agree with that, but that's because they are both has to worry about the image. They both. If the main, well, we're getting to a section where there are so many different there's so many different aspects to that. We can't sit here and break down all that because we can't talk general about it because everything is different when it comes to that.
It's
That's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing.
But that's my point though. My point is there's certain people who don't buy into the rule, like LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Like I know he doesn't care about that stuff, but society does, because like society tries to bully people into doing things. But there are certain NFL players who or certain people who are in the limelight who don't care about that. They don't care. Ray said, "Is Jada Pinkett single yet, or just still just doing interviews?"
Still doing interviews.
You know, there's a Spanish red table talk. Rojo mesas, hablas.
Nothing
like I didn't know. Gloria Estefan. I was like, God, dog, this thing is going everywhere, and it's been out for a while. I just found out about it though. Anyway, I digress. But GPS, it'll get you as far as it'll get you. I mean, sometimes it pays off.
Yeah, if anyway,
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a relationship between GPS, like if we had to draw on a line, is the relationship to like if GPS is like how much status you have and like how much money you have going in this way, is there a relationship to how pretty you are in GPS?
Black Male Podcast on all major streaming platforms.
Why you don't want to answer my question?
Black Male Podcast on all streaming platforms. You didn't see that?
Yeah, no, that dude who did
Okay, yeah.
that.
I thought I was trying to see if you was gonna catch that.
I did catch it.
Yeah. No, but we already said that. it was awesome.
Oh no, that was real entertaining.
That was awesome. And I want to do for a couple of shows from now. I want to do something about that because that is awesome. That dude is crazy. But no, yeah. For women, yeah, it's the beauty, and for men, it's the money. Yeah, I agree because we've talked about that before. You know, it's definitely like I said, for women, the money don't do anything for women. It does well if you can get the beauty. Like, well, money. They put it into beauty to do, to do that, what you're saying, to do that. But just the soul money aspect of it, if you don't do the beauty part of it, it doesn't do anything for women.
So one can say that GPS ain't getting women nowhere unless they're pretty, unless they're beautiful.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, and if we really be,
unless there's certain caliber.
And if we're really being honest, it's based on society standards. So you have to be light skinned.
Yes,
we're here. And so if you're a brown skinned girl,
because good hair is nappy hair.
I'm saying what society says. I'm not. Okay. I don't agree with that. I'm saying what society says. Okay, if we talk about that, then it's like brown skinned girls or anybody darker than a brown paper bag is at a deficit because society says exotic is the way in.
In general, yeah.
So GPS ain't getting any woman nowhere unless you real pretty, exotic looking.
Unless you in a 10% of women, top women.
And your hair is yours and long.
Look wise. Yeah, and it is your natural hair. Yeah, look wise.
Okay. Oh, and if you don't have any kids.
Yeah, that too, yeah. Because kids bring you down.
And if you don't have an attitude, you gotta shut the fuck up.
Well, you don't have to shut the fuck up. You just can't have a messed up attitude.
You're right. My bad. You don't need to shut the fuck up because that chick stabbed that man twice and he still married her. So my bad.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
My bad.
You just have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, when to walk away. She's gonna stab your ass. Nigga, you should have knew when to run. God damn. Shit.
And then he married her, girl. So I mean, if you're gonna play the game, I always say this: I don't subscribe to the game. I don't subscribe to good hair versus bad hair or any of that other stuff. But if you're going to play the game, at least play the game correctly, right? If you're trying to be in these streets messing with people who got all this money and you won't find a good dude, then make sure your BMI is under 30.
Well, what I want to say too is that know what your end result is, what your end outcome you want to do, and work your way backwards. That's the thing. That'll be a better practice than a lot of other stuff.
How long I got a message?
Anyway.
How long I got a message? For me, seeing a woman that's more put together is less dangerous. They understand the grind of real life, can be more understanding, and typically make better long-term choices. They require more work, but that work pays unlimited dividends. So you're saying more put together, like physically put together? You're talking about like this person has a job. What type of put together are you talking about? Because I've noticed I'm waiting for them to respond. I've noticed situations where men will get somebody who's physically put together, which implies,
crazy as hell.
Also costing them a lot of money,
on the back.
Maintenance and the upkeep. Them goddamn nails. Oh, he said job and career. I would agree with you. Like if you got somebody working, although don't be fooled. There's a lot of people who are working until they get the bag.
So they get the bag, and then next thing they can't find it. They act like they can't work no more.
He said done up usually means less self-confidence. Sometimes. Sometimes it also means you gotta get in this game, and people like pretty made up stuff. Like that's like if you're playing the game, society says you have to wear makeup. If you're playing the game, but let me tell you, women. Let me tell you, men are doing this whole working until they get the bad game too. Like, cause we had an aunt who was with a dude who was like a full time, like he was white collar all day long. He was like, he worked for NASA. He worked for NASA. And then they got together, they moved in, and all of a sudden came back. He came home, she came home, and he was already home. She's like, hey, what you doing here early? He's like, they tried me. That I quit that job. They need me before I need them.
That white man trying to keep me down, put his foot in my neck.
And then she'd be like, all right, well, he's like, well, I'm gonna be finding a job. It shouldn't take more than a week or two. You should be able to swing the bills, right? And a week or two turned into some months. Because he would get a job offer, but they didn't offer enough.
There's always something. Always
something. Side note, I want to talk. I need you to do this for me. I need you on HBO.
So, okay, say it again. It broke up. Go ahead.
I need you to watch Love Life on HBO.
Love Life. Okay.
It's a quick show. Like it's 2 seasons. The first season is about a woman. It's a white woman. And the second season is about a black man. Both of those seasons were really good episodes, and it's the whole season is about that person's love life from until they got to their life partner, their permanent life partner, right? It's a really good show, but I do want to talk about it. I had a really interesting conversation about the first season, and I really have questions about it because it was like. Neither here nor there. We'll talk about that at a later point. But I'm just telling you that.
Okay, I'll get on.
So, GPS men, if you want to, get that lifestyle you're looking for, make sure you buy some nice cars. Did you see the Tesla truck?
No, I don't think I did. No, not even.
It looked like
yeah. The silver, the chrome truck. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
stainless steel.
It's been a while. Yeah,
that thing looked like it's ready. You ready for battle?
It looked like you going to like the moon rover or something. Like you going.
It does look like that.
That's what it looked like. And they had a little small mini truck that came with one of them. The first couple of them, they had a little mini truck or something. Anyway.
That's just a random statement. There was no more to that statement, y'all. I was just like, have y'all seen that? If you put $100 down, you too can buy one of those things. And the price used to be in the 26,000s is the cheapest part, but they took that off because it was like, there's no way you could get a stainless steel impact resistant car like that.
Because they shot at it or something, and it was, I don't know. But anyway, GPS. Ain't getting you nowhere.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck. You get some eggplant though.
And it probably won't even be good. That's the worst part. It probably won't even be good. You probably got ghosted by some average peen.
Might be mediocre, but whatever. Anyway, that's it. Like I said, we'll get back with y'all next week. Go subscribe to YouTube channel, ADHD Hour Podcast. YouTube. I'll talk to you next week because I gotta get my GPS together. Anyway, nothing else to say?
Good luck. That's all I got.
Black Male Podcast on all stream platforms.